Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Talking Shirt, where we basically talk shirt. And today I am joined by the one and only Rik Fsc. And how are you? I know Brisbane's hot, but Melbourne is hotter today. Tell me, what are you doing and what are you wearing right now? Hopefully pants.
Hi, yes, it's very hot here in Brisbane, not as hot as you, of course, but the humidity is quite high, so we definitely sweat through. And today I'm wearing the Netherlands home shirt, current in vapor, with the lion fabric knitting that
Yes,
is
that's right.
involved with the vapor knit, yes.
Yeah, I know when everyone talks about kits, you are if not the leading expert in vapor knit and any technology, whatever manufacturer we talk about. I have to say thank you to you, of course, for this beautiful Venezia Venice FC kit. This is one of the best gifts, if not the best gift I've been given, in ever. And the fact that you have given it to me, it means a lot. So thank you so much for that, mate.
No problems at all, and I do appreciate everything you've done for me in
Oh, it's all good, mate.
my current branding and providing content. So
Anytime, mate.
It's a little gift to you and to say thank you.
Oh, look, hopefully I can get you a kit soon. I know you're going away for a few more weeks when we'll explain the whole situation. But I think when it comes to buying you a kit, you are, if not, like I say to my wife, I'm by far the hardest person to buy a kit for, because in many ways I'm easy. You either buy me a comic book or a football kit and I'll be pretty happy. But for you, honestly, like, I have gone through so many websites, and I know you know the best deals, but also the best people in the community. But how does one buy you a kit? Like, what are the 2 or 3 things that we have to look into to be able to buy you a kit?
I think for me, things that really intrigue the niche details, fabric differences. I like a little bit of a loud shirt that's not like too far left of center. I'm an older white man. I can't really get away with something like a Ford Madison drip kit, something like that. That's a little too loud. But like, you mean like the RB Leipzig third, the Man City third, those kind of kits are, yeah, they're a little bit out there, but they're not quite too far out to be, out of my realms of a dad to wear on the street. So, in terms of fabrics and things like that, I really enjoy just finding different brands and things like that and see what their shirts are like. I've got a shirt coming from Luxembourg, the Macron Luxembourg national kit, which I won't see for a few weeks now. But
yeah, wait for a while.
on. Yeah, that's on the way to me, thanks to Sean from Australia Socceroos and Matildas kits from Holland, who got that from Macron Direct and sent it over to me. So really appreciate that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I am easy to buy for, and I will appreciate any gift anyone gives to me. So don't
Done.
feel like it's going to be too hard to find something. But like I said, I bought 50 shirts last year, so just don't buy something I already have.
50, damn. Look, I'm looking at your feed right now, and I have actually been looking at it the past few days, and you do have a good collection. And I see what you mean by not too out there, but out there. I think the most outrageous kit you have, like you said, the Red Bull, but is also the Bayern Munich third kit. And then also, if I must say, is that human race kit that you have in the Bayern Munich, which I kind of wish I got. I do have the United one, but I'm not a huge fan of Bayern Munich, so I didn't want to get it, but it is the best out of the lot.
I don't think Bayern Munich fans like it either after them getting knocked out in the cup with
Oh,
that shirt on.
That's what I mean about shirts. They become iconic when the games. Like, sometimes the kit may not be the best looking, like, everyone's hate for the United third kit, but it has had some good history. So, it is one of those things. Now, I know you said you bought 50 kits, and one of my lessons I learned this year, or sorry, 2020 last year, is that I need to be careful with the first prices that we see, because when you instantly see a kit, you want to buy it. What's your best advice for someone looking to buy a kit? Would you tell them to wait on certain kits? For example, that kit you're wearing today, I don't think has sold out compared to many, but like the Venezia kit would definitely sell out.
I think it depends on the accessibility of
Mm-hmm.
the kits. So if you see kits that are on like Kitbag, Pro Direct, Fanatics, Ultra, Rebel Sport, things like that, you're going to have a bigger opportunity to find those savings.
Mm-hmm.
If that Venezia kit, for example, like it's not really easily accessible by the bigger retail stores, and it's probably not sought out by them. It's more kind of like your hipster style football shirt sellers like Cold Kits, and now even look, like I am actually surprised that Ultra have those shirts. It's one of
Yeah.
those. It's one of those kits that really kind of stand out for like on a culture side of it, as opposed to like the big brands smashing out the marketing and putting it out all through every retailer. So if it's available through every retailer, by all means, you're going to have opportunities to find it on sale.
Hmm.
If it's, like that Venezia kit or even this Club America third shirt at the moment,
So
it's
we both
nearly
can't get.
impossible to find. Yeah, it's nearly impossible to find. So it's like very rarely seen on any American retailers. And even then, that's 165 US.
No
And
thanks.
on the, yeah, exactly. And on the Club America shop, which only ships to Mexico, it's equivalent to 160 vapor Australian.
Oh my god.
So, I mean, that's, but, after all that, you need proxies to get it out of Mexico, and then shipping becomes a problem and all that kind of stuff. And that's the difficulties of buying shirts in Australia. Really, if you want to go outside the big five or the EPL, or maybe like the Milans and the Barcelonas and the Real Madrids, you really have to work a lot harder.
Of course.
The accessibility of that is half the journey. So.
One of my favorite kits that I've purchased, and through a proxy, thank you to that person that was in the UK, was the Hackney Wick kit, the black and yellow. I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's a community team, or they're in like the 7th division in England, and Nike has recently made them like the iconic faces of the London sort of group of people that were faces of the England kit recently. And yeah, that kit was amazing because the detail in it is done by the local kids of Hackney, and they put it into the shirt. And I had to get like 3 people to ship it to Australia. But talking about getting proxy, you and I, and thank you to you, you helped me with the Inter third kit, getting Lukaku on the back. And I have to say, that's one of the shirts last year I rushed because I was worried it's going to sell out.
Oh,
Why didn't it
absolutely,
sell out? Like,
absolutely.
what
I,
happened?
I think this year Nike has had a massive lesson in terms of what happened with the Nigeria kit.
100%.
But also with COVID, it's given them time to basically opportunity to provide a larger scale of supply because of the delay of a lot of releases. So I think what they've done is, okay, well, people aren't going to be able to get into the retail stores. Everywhere is flogging it online. But the numbers, the allocations have just been a lot bigger than I've seen, especially with vapors. Recently, vapors only really came in, like if you were Barcelona or Real Madrid or Bayern, yes, you may essentially get them in all 3, but only mainly home teams for someone like Roma or Inter. Previous teams to that, even Chelsea last year, only the home team, home kit was vapor. But
Wow.
you have to look going forward, like, okay, the accessibility of vapor now and the technologies going forward, if the numbers sell, they're going to continue to provide those wider options in terms of home, away, third, and possibly fourth in both technologies. And this year we saw a massive improvement in Nike's fan shirt technology, where you look at some of the great examples of the PSG third, the Roma away kit, and just the quality of the sublimated material. So like the one you're wearing, even like it will be white on the inside. The quality from the previous template where it's all the same with the raglan sleeve and whatnot, they were very, very poor in quality. And it was good to see that that's improved this year from Nike.
100%. I think that's the best thing about even any other manufacturers. I've noticed that a lot of their kits have been good quality. Adidas, Umbro, even Kappa, seeing the Western Sydney kits, even the Western United kits. Like, I think they've done a really good job this year, but I think the supply, the amount that the manufacturers have made, I think mainly Nike is at fault for this, but I think there's too much made. And I think the demand for the certain kits haven't been as high as they expected. That Nigeria kit in 2018 blew up, and Nike was like, well, we have to save our asses now in case there's a second wave of that. And yeah, look, to be honest, the Leipzig kit, not the Leipzig kit, which is the one we're talking about, the Red Bull, is that Leipzig?
Yeah, the Red Bull
that
Leipzig, yeah.
on Nike.com has sold more, and there's less sizes available than the Inter third and even the Nigeria kit. And I think it's something, I'm either thinking that made less amounts of that kit than they did for the Inter and the Nigeria kit, or do you reckon more people have gone for something different this year and avoided the two big sort of
I
items.
think there's a double-edged sword there. You have to understand that the Leipzig kit's only available in the fan version. They don't have a vapor version
Oh, I didn't know
available.
that.
So you're looking at a lot of people who were exactly thought that they needed this kit and they wanted to spend that little bit of extra money and get the vapor. So therefore, you've got two allocations in one side and you've only got one allocation on the other. So that's why you're looking at less allocation available on the Leipzig kit as opposed to the Inter kit.
I think the best kit from fan version non-vapor this year, and I think even the design worthy was, I think this PSG kit here, the third kit, the
Yep,
Jordan one, the
absolutely.
material, that the material and this, the fabric and this, even that sleeve design, I always call the accordion design. I
Yep.
think Nike excelled in this one. And then I think the Chelsea red and blue third kit also has the same design, but not the same material. They have the accordion. Do you think
Yep.
this is something Nike should stick to, this design here? Or do you think the next wave of vapor knit is going to be much better than the current one?
Well, with what Nike's doing going forward, they're going to be changing the vapor technology, the name to Dry Fit Advanced.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's what you'll be looking at probably going forward, maybe from next season or the next World Cup rotation for national
Whenever the World
teams.
Cup is going to be.
Yeah. So I think for fan versions is probably where it really needs to improve, and the standard needs to increase, especially
100%.
on Nike side. And then they have done that this year. The technology and where it goes with vaping it to dry fit fans, I think what they've done is they've probably just they're looking to use that same technology throughout all their sports. So therefore, they're just trying to find a common terminology for that everyone will understand. So
Yeah.
vaping it, yes, it's probably more well known in running and in football, but you probably won't hear that in the NBA. You probably won't hear that in tennis, and you probably won't hear that in any other sports that they really cover. So where
Mm.
dry fit has been pretty much like their go-to for the last 10 years. Now, if they just whack an advanced on the end, it probably just will bring all the sports together. And even though the technology is the same, the terminology will also be the same. So therefore, everyone understands what that technology is,
Yeah.
regardless of what sport you're playing.
That's a really smart call. I think Adidas has that issue, the two names they have for their pro and fan version kits. And it's even the names always change, it's gone from fan version to stadium version to Vapornik to game issue. Like there's so many different names. Do you think there's a massive issue in the kit scene because of those different name changes and just versions? Because I don't know, I haven't
I
done my
think
research on this, but did Umbro have a player version in the 90s?
so. I'm unsure about the historical reference for Umbro and their player kits. I know in Japan, for example, they do have a player version and a fan version for sale for Gamba Osaka and FC Tokyo before this year, where Tokyo has moved to New Balance. Umbro Brazil, I found, have had like I don't know, fan version and an authentic. But from what I could gather, I think the authentic probably just has like the more sponsors, like the full set of sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
I think the quality of the kit is still very, very similar. But
Mm.
I mean, in terms of the quality for me, and Umbro Brazil probably resonates with me most because the climate is very, very similar. Is everything is like heat pressed on. They've got like a mesh panel with the Gremio kit that I have. That mesh panel actually is printed on. So that is, that's something really, really nice to have, that the pattern goes around on the back and it's a mesh panel. It's probably something that I think Puma might have to look at in the future as well. I mean, you
Mm.
look at AC Milan's kit this year. I think I've got it actually.
Did they have air
Yeah.
holes on the shoulders?
Yeah. So it's on the collarbone on the design here.
Mm. I
They've
did
got
see that.
and on the back, but on the
Mm.
back they've just got the same material as the front, so they don't actually have that shin cool mesh panel that say Man City
Yeah.
or the other kits have. So it really does show that like if the technology is not used properly, it can be a detriment. And I don't think the laser cut holes where they were provided any benefit to the players. It certainly didn't provide any benefit to me, and I'm sweating in that thing every time I wear it. So
100%.
that's another story. But hopefully, Puma are looking to do something different because they're not providing laser cut holes on their shirts next season. So we'll see where they go.
Yeah, look, I think Puma's one of those manufacturers again that have a big portfolio now, and we'll see some advances in their kits. You got to remember, like I remember when New Balance came into the game with their boots, and they had a lot of issues. And then Aaron Ramsey sued New Balance because he had injuries because of the boots. So there's always uncharted waters where manufacturers will try and fail and try and succeed. So I think Nike's always, even if they do something bad, no one will look at a bad eye. I think that's when they said, we're not using template kits anymore. So everyone was like, yeah, Nike's not using template kits anymore. But a lot of other manufacturers had different sort of designs for years and years, but no one really gave them a pro or con. Do you think that there is a manufacturer at the moment that's maybe trying too hard or not trying enough?
I think for me, design-wise, it's really hard to say. I think Puma have really gone from one end of the spectrum to the other in terms of their design work. Yeah, well, all the design work. So ever since, like this year especially, and with the crafted culture, when it started with the Italy third kit,
that was the start.
That really, and to me, like I've never really bought Puma before this year because the fan version of the shirts were rubbish, and the print never really really excited me in any ways. But this year, I have bought more Puma shirts nearly than Adidas, and that says a lot. The Puma shirts this year, the rear panel, unfortunately, I find a little poor in quality. Yours has got a print on the back, so you won't notice the difference there. But I think I've got maybe no. I've only got
the one thing I don't like about the Puma kits though is the paneling system. They do have 3 different panels, or 4, sorry, 2 sleeves, and I don't like that.
Yeah, you get that, like there's a shoulder panel here. So I'll use this one for example again. You've got this shoulder panel that comes here with the Puma on it. You've got the sleeve, and then there's a rear panel there. And then you've got the actual the rear of the shoulder. Yeah, there's a lot of paneling on there, and I think this year I can't remember who released. I think if I have to look at the J League ones that have just released, there is a lot of paneling on their shirts again. So I'm not sure if they've got the current technology. I know they had the laser cut holes last year, but I haven't physically seen. I've only seen vectors. So I'm not quite sure where the technology they are going at, if they're going to release it with the J League season.
Now, talking about templates before we move to our next subject, I know Nike did say they're not using templates, but what were your thoughts on the zigzag sort of design they had on the floor, on the sides with the elastic? Because I know I saw a version of it on the sleeve of the Nigeria training kit, which I really liked, and I see that a lot. But what are your thoughts on that zigzag iconic thing they did this year or last year, sorry, with their kits? Do you think it's a good or a bad addition?
I think it adds a little design element considering
it's like the Total 90.
Yeah, well, they also had like in 2015, 16, 17, I think they also had with the previous template where there was like a little ventilation elastic of where the front and rear panel would actually connect. And that is probably a nod back to that, but obviously adding more technology because the way that the structure of the vapor works this time, when you're moving away, having that zigzag probably gives a bit more of an option. Whereas if you look at some of the ones that have got it straight, yes, the vapor paneling is the same, but I mean, it just really depends on what the club wants, I guess, at the end of the day. If the zigzag works for them, I don't think it provides any like performance benefit in terms of the difference if it was a straight vertical panel or if it's a zigzag one. I think it just works better for what the club wants to do or the federation wants to do. I mean, the one I'm wearing now, like the KNVB is embossed into the fabric, where the PSG one, I know it actually it's kind of like a heat press type thing onto the fabric as well. So there's different ones and there's different opportunities, and it just adds that extra little bit of element that makes that kit bespoke as to anything else.
100%. Now, let's get into our favorite subject. First of all, this has been a bit of a touchy subject for a lot of us in the kit scene. And look, I'll be honest, like I did grow up with, sort of a low income. So when it comes to football kits, like fake kits are always the things you get at the markets. And we appreciate the material, the fabric, the hard work that goes into the people making this. And there's a lot of ethics behind the factories and the sort of workers. And that's one thing, hopefully in the future, that a lot of manufacturers tackle and change for the good. There's a lot of issues with recycling, there's wastage of material. And that's something as humans we are slowly learning. But I do hope for the brands that they do push that out of the way and fix it. But the one thing I do dislike is fake kits, because there's so much unethical business. Like there's so much terrible things happening. Like I think, well, like let's be honest, we both dislike it for many reasons. But is there one reason why you dislike fake kits?
I dislike fake kits because it takes away from the actual quality and brand that invest so much money into making sure that that the brand is, even for the club, it's not only just the brand itself, it's the club's branding. So it's the quality of material that you get when the brand themselves invest so much money and into putting that money into the club and making sure that the product has quality control. And as you find out when you start investing in the authentic shirts, the quality difference between the actual genuine product and the fake product is completely night and day. And the fake products last like maybe 2 or 3 washes before all the hems start fraying and the badge starts getting like unstuck and the numbers start fading and things like that. And unfortunately, yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from. With people with low income, not everyone is going to be able to afford the kits that they want straight away. And that's where where the sales come in, and having that opportunity, just being patient to buy. But I mean, if you're on the hype train and you need that kit now, man, these people that like need to buy and sell from the fake people, you're better off just going direct to DHgate and just buying it from the supplier themselves. Like I hate it for something like that. But like these people who have created an Instagram account, DM me for prices, all sizes available for a shirt that's 20 years old, and put you in it. Mate, you can call it a replica all you want. The thing is a fake shirt. It's not real, and you are just scamming everyone you sell to, mate. Absolutely. And I'm not going to put any names to it. I think it's pretty obvious out there between the community who we're talking about. But there's plenty more out there in Australia as well and in the world. You just look at Depop and eBay, and every second shirt now, you need to have a private eye and investigation just to find out if the thing's genuine or not. So
look, I'm putting some hand sanitizer in my hands because I think our hands are dirty enough now. Honestly, no, I don't want to cut you off, but like to the people listening and watching this, because this will be on Spotify and of course YouTube. But what we're both saying isn't like, if you can, save your money and invest into a kit that you want, then that's the best way to go that way. But like we both witnessed a certain athlete buy, I think 3 or 4 kits, and one of them was a Batistuta kit. And I thought to myself, you've got enough money to buy a real kit. And again, it's not judging the person. Of course, they've got some income that they definitely can afford the original, proper, real kit. But what's the point of wasting your money on paying 80 to 100 Australian dollars on a fake kit? Like I understand if someone's mum bought a kit for you and it's like, oh shit, it's a fake kit. Like I've been stooged on eBay many times where I'm just like, oh my God, it's an amazing kit and I bought it. But when we see many sizes available in a kit that was out in the 80s, I'm like, no chance. Like,
it really does. It does like really make me angry with some of these people that sell that, and they get away with going, oh, but it's a replica. Well, mate, replica. This is what I hate about the terminology. As you were saying, the different terminologies: fan, stadium, replica, player issue, match issue, worn. Yeah, okay. The authentic stuff have genuine terminologies. It's either going to be player issue or match issue or match prepared, right? fan stadium, pretty standard. But once you use the word replica, it just gives that little opening of the door for fakes to come in and go, oh, it's a replica, mate. And well, a replica to me is a fake. It's not a genuine product. And yeah, that's basically it for me. I can't.
No, you're so
Just
fine.
it's my blood is boiling.
Oh, mate. Look, again, to people listening, it's not something that we're both angry about. It's more we just don't want to see new kit collectors. We don't want to see partners of kit collectors. We don't want to see parents of kit collectors or friends of kit collectors buy a fake kit and give money to someone who's basically it's like fraud. It's making money from something that isn't ethically right. I think in a sense that you wouldn't go to the shops and buy Versace from Versace and then realize it's fake. You know, like if you want the genuine product, you buy it. And look, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, male and female, wearing, you know, fake Versace or Gucci items or Balenciaga, and each to their own, you know. But I think when it comes to investing into something yourself, like you want to make sure you put your money towards something that's authentic, and it's like it's your hard-earned cash, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's your money. You spend it how you feel, but at the end of the day, if you buying a fake off a third party that's, you know, providing all sizes on you know, shirts that are pretty rare, you know that's going to a place at the end of the day that's probably paying someone less than what the big brands are paying to make it. The quality is less, and you're not going to enjoy it as much, knowing that it is fake. So that's at the end of the day, you know, just be patient, look out for those sales. Time will come. If you miss out, then, you know, maybe it just wasn't to be. I mean, I've missed out on opportunities to buy kits before, but, you know, you try and research and see where the retailers are that, I mean, the green Club America third of last year I ended up buying it from some out of nowhere retailer from Canada. But, you know, I spent a fortune on shipping, nearly probably half as much as the shirt was worth. I mean, that was a lesson learned for me. But at the end of the day, you know, be prepared to what you want to pay, but, you know, do it through the genuine channels.
100%. And look, the Australian kit scene is growing. There's a lot of people out there, you know, like we've got Miriam at Cahill Express, we've got yourself, we've got PFC, we've got the Football House, Minos. Like there's a lot of people in Australia now getting into the scene. And I say to a lot of Australians listening, if you do want to invest into an authentic kit that is resold, or even there's ultra football, like there's a lot of us out there that can help you out in a kit. Even there's many smaller businesses out in the UK like Northern Ireland Classic Shirts and, you know, vintage. But honestly, if you come across a page that's like got a weird name and selling every size available of a shirt, that's a red flag. So I think we'll touch away from that subject because it may boil our blood. And we're already in a heated room right now because both Melbourne and Brisbane are pretty warm. But talk to us. What was your first kit? Do you remember? Like for me, honestly, sometimes I remember, sometimes I forget. And I get asked that question a lot. But what was your first football jersey?
My first football jersey was a birthday gift given to me from my mother. I saw the so this is how I come to support Ajax as well. So the 94-95 Champions League final was on SBS for those people in Australia, live on TV. And I was just having my breakfast, and I enjoyed playing soccer at school, but I never really saw any of it on TV. And then I was watching that final, and I'm like, okay, that's the team I want, and that's the shirt I want. So the famous blue with the red logos going down and that sash kind of pattern. Anyway, so my mother, who we've got a rugby league background in our family, she didn't know,
Brisbane.
where to. Yeah, we didn't know where. She didn't know where to start. But she went to a place in Lutwyche, but now it's in Stafford, called Soccer World, and they did an amazing job getting the next season's away shirt, which was the green one with the massive Ajax logo through the middle. And I got like a full kit wanker shirt, socks, and shorts. And man, I wore that kit to death. And that was my first kit, or my first bought kit. I played for North Star in Brisbane for a couple of seasons before I was pushed back. pushed back to rugby league by my family because there was some, I don't know, because my brother was playing rugby league as well. They didn't want to go to two different places on the same
Yeah.
day. So yeah, it was a bit like that. But yeah, that's the story of my first kid anyway.
Oh, nice.
And shout out to the guys at Soccer World. I still appreciate everything you did for my parents back then.
Oh, nice, man. Look, I think our first kit's always special. And it's good to know that you're still supporting Ajax, even though I'm a PSV supporter, and it's a bit of hate there
We just
between
screw
us.
each other in the cup.
Always, always. I think the Eredivisie is one of those leagues where it's like it's a two-horse race, but then out of nowhere, FC20 or Fortuna Sittard, someone just rocks up and it's like, hey, guess what? We're here too, Feyenoord.
No, I said Alkmaar was equal top last season. You've got Vitesse this year.
It's a pretty good league.
Second place. Oh, look, I mean, I completely understand the club in the league is a selling league. It's a developmental league, but for me, I just enjoy watching it, and I'm glad I've got the opportunity to watch it in English at some points. Trying to find a stream in Dutch is nearly like it's very difficult to.
We have to say that
watch.
The Eredivisie has had some amazing players like Ibrahimovic, and you've got Ronaldo, the actual Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo at PSV, not Ajax. We've got better players than Ajax, but then we've had even Suarez make his performance in the league. Like there's just an amazing amount of footballers that have come from there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got a lot of South Americans and other players that end up starting in the smaller clubs of the Eredivisie, and then like Ajax and PSV and Feyenoord will probably pick them up, and then from there, if they'll usually make it from somewhere. So, but everyone likes to have a claim on their players playing at current clubs, like Frankie De Jong and whatnot.
Van der Beek.
They all play in the league, and they all do very well, and it just shows their skill set. And then where they go to next is entirely the world's their oyster. So, and they're usually pretty cheap to the big leagues as well. So.
Well, you have a fair understanding of football, and I did notice the other day that you wrote some stuff for the Kits, man. What do you do for the other football sort of pieces around there? I know you're really connected to people like Phil Dells, and you just have a connection with a lot of the kids scene, and you've been interviewed by a lot of my friends too. I don't know, what's your future for 21 in the kids scene, and what would you like to contribute? I know you've changed your page and you want to give a bit of a new look. What's the future for Rik FFC?
So I've gone away from selling my old shirts on the page, and I want to be more content driven into things that really interest me. So it'll be like the technology side of things, the template side of things. You probably would have seen when Condiro 21 stuff, and I try to point out a few differences. Some differences between the Condiro 20 and the Condiro 21. I'll probably be looking further into the technology side as it goes into the new club season. What kind of design elements are working for different clubs and for different fabric types. I'll be doing some more written work for the Kidsmen this year. I've had Football Shirt Gallery asked me to do just like a differences between the technologies of the three brands for their website. And hopefully I'll be able to do some more like imagery stuff just to add to the written content, just to give it a bit more context to what I'm about. But everyone's talking about how the design works and the design elements, and for me, I think that's well covered. But what I want to look at is the things that people don't look at all the time. Like the badging, what the material and the badging and how it's pressed, the fabric types, how it feels on you, like how does the ventilation work? How does sublimation affect the shirts as opposed to pre-dyed fabrics and things like that? So they're the kind of niche things, and I can understand that my area of interest is pretty niche, but I think the design stuff it's well covered. Like I don't need to be just another dude just covering the same stuff that everyone else is covering. It's more so that these are the things that interest me. I touch a shirt and I'll be like, oh wow, this feels different to my printed one, and then I'll push it inside out and go, oh, okay, well, what makes this different? What's the feeling of it? Same with the Adidas ones. A lot of the fan ones have a lot of different material feeling and woven fabric types. So they're the things that really interest me and really excite me. So I'll be writing a lot more about those kind of things this year.
That's perfect. Look, when I started this channel, it's because I always looked at the kit and I thought to myself, do I need to get this? Do I need to, why do I want to buy this? And then that's like something that always drove me to make these videos. But I think in the written word, like I've read some of your pieces, like the Kindiva 21 story. So if you are listening to this, please check that out. But yeah, I think one thing I noticed, like I was given some Jaco products, and I've never seen Jaco product in person. It was the Bayer Leverkusen and the Stuttgart jerseys from
Oh,
this
yes,
season.
yes,
So those
yes.
reviews will come up, and I noticed the stitching in those kits are a lot different than Nike and Adidas. And I think even there's the usage and the wastage of material inside. There's a lot more sort of cross hatching, stitching, and this is something I've learned a lot, even looking at jerseys or kits. I've learned a lot more about how stitching is done, what the difference between a hand stitched area or even like the printed, and I'm learning about the plastics or even just the materials used for the badges. There's a lot to it than just like looking at it as a kit. That's what interests us basically, and that's what you just said, which is I'm really excited to listen and read your words. But have you ever thought about doing any audio pieces like yourself?
Yeah, it's just a matter of like just getting the right avenue to and people to work with in that kind of context.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Doing audio is very hard to describe the niche things that that you would have to do. So like I listen to Kip Bliss a lot.
Oh, gotta check that out.
And Jay from Design Football on that podcast. And they provide like a crib sheet, which is basically like a Google Docs things with imagery. And they talk a lot about the design elements and things like that. But you have to refer to an image on a document to actually to understand what they're talking about in most instances. So because they're quite in depth with how they speak about collars and different sleeve types and things like, if you don't have that image in front of you, you're not really fully understanding the complexity or the detail of what they're discussing. So I think for me, if I was to do something in the audio realm, it would probably have to work that way. Video, maybe like a narration with like images on top, maybe might work a bit better. I'm just trying to get some ideas around and see what happens, but I'll think about those things during my time away and when I've got some downtime.
And of course, and look, it's one of the things about the kit community is a lot of us doing something out there, giving information, and it's always like it's a bit of a challenge to stand out. But I think when it comes to the community, everyone's been really supportive. So I think whatever you do, a lot of people will be there to help and listen. But yeah, what's your experience with the kit scene? Have you enjoyed so far the progression? I know in the past 12 months it's grown a lot and it's changed a lot because we spend a lot more time behind the computers now and having a different identity on social media. Have you found it supportive? And I think there's a lot of talk at the moment. Paul and I did a video recently about the obsession with kits and like people. And then, of course, Alice at Away Days did the same sort of topic. And it's a bit of a challenge. Do you think after 2021, the kit scene is going to grow too fast and people may fall off and, or do you think it's in a healthy way for the next couple of years?
I certainly don't think that the kit scene has peaked. I think it will probably branch off in terms of like you will find your retros and your new age people. Certainly, like I consider myself to be a new. I appreciate a lot of the retro work, but I won't buy one. And it's not to be disrespectful to anyone that collects retro stuff. It's just I want to put my money where I want to put my interest. So for me, I think I explained this on a story, Instagram story just recently, that where I want with my content to be and things like that. My money needs to be on the new age stuff.
Yeah.
But look, some of the fabric work done in the retro stuff is unbelievable, and it's always good to refer back to when you see something similar from the new age. But I think it will probably branch off in two different directions. A lot of people that will probably hang on to that retro scene and either be the seller or the just show the imagery of how good those kits were, and then you'll have
100%.
people like myself or whatnot that probably will concentrate on the current and the future shirts going forward.
Yeah, that's true. Look, my thing that I've learned is last year I spent too much money on a lot of brand new kits, and the only problem with me and brand
Didn't
new
we all?
kits is, yeah, I know it was a lot. I think 2020 was a big year for kits in a sense that we all stayed home and like, that looks pretty, I'm going to buy it. I learned my lesson because a lot of my money was given into these new kits, and then I realized how much the price dropped in most of them. The reason why I'm obsessed with the older kits, and it's usually the unique kits, and this is why I want to go into the subject towards the end, because I can't wait to see your reaction to one of the kits that Paul at PFC Vintage had found for me. And I'm trying my best. I've asked everyone. I think I'm hoping I haven't asked you, because then we'll rule this segment. But so one of the kits we've already seen is behind me. It's a Atlético Nacional Colombian team, the one and only Pablo Escobar had shares in. That kit behind me is a Converse kit. Have you ever heard of any other team in the world with a Converse as a manufacturer?
No, no. When you said to me that was Converse, I was like,
Let me get
what?
it down.
Yeah, like that is unbelievable, and it's very interesting that you say that, because you find, like, in different parts of the world, you'll find unique brands where you don't find anywhere else, whether they be local or even like they might be, European brand in the South American market, but they're not really used for that sport in that area. So yeah, that's what year is that shirt?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head. I think it was late 80s, early 90s. But
Oh,
so
yeah.
see,
That's probably when Converse were big in basketball too. So
yeah,
they may have
they
decided
branched
to
out down
branch
to
out
South
in some,
America.
yeah,
Well, that's
and
the
then
thing.
see
Like,
what happens.
my 2021 goal is going to be to look for more unique kits that have not been sort of sourced. And this is not the one I want to show you. This is another one that Paul found for me. It's a Peruvian team that I love. It's it's Alianza Lima, Peruvian team.
Yes,
And
beautiful.
like the
I
sheer,
mean, I can see the sheer fabric work
yeah,
and
look at that.
that fabric piping in there, and that's what I mean. Like, looking at that kind of stuff, and then using that retrospective viewpoint,
You
and
see
you
everything
look
at the
at the
bottom.
PSG one, which has that same type of fabric pattern, even though it's kind of like a matte finish and not a sheer finish. That really goes to show, like, what is old is new again, and can be utilized in different
100%.
ways. So.
Are you ready for this kit now? The one I wanted to show you to
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah, okay,
To everyone
counterclockwise.
listening to on Spotify, the two kits that I showed was at Atlético Nacional. The first one, there was a green kit, so check that out on YouTube. The second one was Alianza Lima. Now the third one, the one that I really wanted to show Rick today, is this one. Have you seen this?
Holy hell! Look at that. That's obviously like a pre-match or a training shirt.
Well, we
That
can't
is,
find it. Everyone's been telling me it was an unreleased training kit for United when they were Umbra, and I've never seen it. I can't find any photos. So
oh
this is
wow.
a task for
That
you.
is that is
You're
wow.
gonna have to help me
That is
find it.
something. Yeah. Oh, you'll have to send me an image, and I'll do my very best.
Like even the
Um,
stitching on the badge, you can't even see the badge inside. The material is like this sort of hairy plastic.
oh yeah, like a
And
felt.
yeah, and like even if you look closer to the detail, it's got I'll have to show the camera on this side. Hopefully you can see in the light. But can you see the line? It almost looks like vapor knit.
Ah, yes,
Can
yes,
you see
yes. I can
the
vaguely, yeah, yeah.
waves?
I can faintly see it. Yes, yes, yes.
I've never seen this kit, and I was waiting to show you because I need this. I'm making an episode right now. I'm hoping to source the unknown kit, but even
Oh.
that collar, it's an overlapping collar that Nike uses now for a lot of their V-neck
Yeah,
kits.
yeah. Wow. Yep, yeah. That's
Have you ever found a kit that's like you can never find online? And have you seen this?
oh, I have not seen that, and I have seen many kits that come up in articles and things like that. The footy.com 100 is always an interesting one to and they go deep and wide into the kit community, and to basically, and that's how I discovered the Portland Thorns shirt last year. But yeah, that they go wide, and you'll see some like obscure sixth division team from like Italy or whatnot that you probably can't buy anywhere, but you'll just look at it and you'll go, wow, I need that shirt. And
Yep.
you'll spend the next half an hour just trying to find it, only to realize that it's near on impossible. It was probably a pre-order only with an allocation of 250 to their members, and that's part and parcel of the kit community. You look at
100%.
what Rotherham are doing at the moment. They're going through their third allocation of their home. I think it's the third kit. It's the dark green one with the geometric pattern on it. That's pretty popular. And you've got to pre-order it. Like, there's no like, oh, we're going to have another allocation and we'll have some on sale. If you don't pre-order, then you're not getting one of those shirts.
Which hits that? Is that the Rotherham United?
Yeah. Yes, I believe so. Yeah, Rotherham.
Away
Tiny
or home?
Rebel. I don't know if it's a home or away or it's a third, but it's got it's black and dark green with a geometric pattern. Looks fairly similar to the Ura Reds current geometric pattern.
You're gonna have to show me. I can't find it.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely send it to you. But
yeah, I'm really keen to see that.
It's been pretty popular on Twitter. They won a couple of shirt competitions that people had been running, so like shirt World Cups and whatnot. So
I do hope. Yeah, go continue. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so it just goes to show, like you can, out of nowhere, that a shirt that is not in the context of any exposure. It just takes one person to kind of share it, and then it can just kind of blow up. And then,
of course,
the difficulty of finding it, because it's such an obscure or small club, can make life very difficult.
100%. I think I was just thinking that then when you said award. I do hope, for the sake of football kits in the future, there is some sort of award, official like global awards in a sense of like arts. It'd be pretty cool to have that, and then everyone votes for it, and then the manufacturers get an award, because that will probably help a lot of these people, push the boundaries again. I think there's a lot of fashion design awards out there. It'd be nice to see something in the sports scene where certain sports get like approval. I think the runners shoe scene gets a lot of that. I think the Nike Alpha Flyers, and you see Adidas trying to do the whole carbon fiber, and then New Balance. So I'd love to see that in the kit scene, where there is a sport manufacturer awards every year, where they award for the best, boundaries pushed or to something different.
Yeah. I can definitely see that being something that could go well, especially like in the technology stuff. But I think for the brands themselves, they probably just look at the performance factor. The designers themselves are probably, I wouldn't say secondary, but and more goes to the club. How big the club is will depend on how much time is spent by the designers. And like you look at the big clubs or the big brands like Nike, Adidas, and Puma, and then you go to someone like Hummel or Kappa, who probably spend a bit more time trying to be a bit more bespoke with their design work. But then when you look at the shirt quality and whatnot, it's probably, you just go, yeah, that's great. But and the UK is a honeypot, and the climate works well with nearly any sublimated shirt. It's not gonna like. But for me, when I wore that, I got the Coventry City Hummel shirts that they released. That was pretty much like a remake of their shirts back when. I couldn't spend 10 minutes outside in the summer wearing that thing. It was like I was drenching me. It just had no breathability. So look, yeah, that's part and parcel of it all, and that's I think why a lot of my shirts are like authentic, because the breathability is just, it nearly feels like a cotton t-shirt half the time. So that's the best part about it.
Of course. Well, look, there's a lot for us to talk about, and there's hopefully future episodes we can definitely do. I know you're going away for 8 weeks, and you're probably happy to tell people that you are a pro at Call of Duty. But tell everyone, anything you want to shout out, and then we'll end it at that. But is there anything you'd like to shout out, or anything that we should check out?
Definitely check out Football Shirt Collective. A lot of their documents are written by Phil Delves, and he really does
the godfather of football kits.
It really does invoke your thinking with regards to football shirts, design, and different things. Also, shout out to Kit Bliss, the guys, Jay, Rich, and I've forgotten the host name now, but the guys from Kit Bliss, Chris, and they do a podcast every week on Patreon. You can listen on their website a month behind, so they do some really good work, and Rich is very, very, very funny. So make sure that you give them a listen. But apart
Done.
from that, yeah, I'll be back in 8 weeks. Hopefully, hopefully there'll be a lot moving in the kit community in terms of leaks and whatnot, and hopefully we'll be able to see some proper images, and you'll get some content from me very soon.
Of course, I just followed all those pages you just told me about. Of course, Phil Dales, everyone should be following him. He's like the godfather of football shirts. Honestly, mate, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy and be safe in the next 8 weeks. I can't wait to see your kit collection for the next year after 8 weeks being away. Hopefully, your bank account doesn't suffer too much. Thank you again. Stay away from the heat and definitely stay safe, okay?
No worries. Thanks very much. Cheers.